Hello, my name is Spence and today we'll be talking about the Finnish War. The Finnish War was one of the many minor wars that were part of the Napoleonic Wars, where after the Treaty of Tilsit was signed, Emperor Alexander II of Russia sent a letter to the King Gustav IV Adolf of Sweden on the 14th of September 1807, telling him that the peaceful relationship between Russia and Sweden depended on Sweden joining Napoleon's continental system. King Gustav Adolf saw Napoleon as an anarchist, and he believed that the continental system would ruin Sweden's maritime commerce. Due to Russia now being at war with Britain, Emperor Alexander demanded that Sweden close all forward warships in the Baltic Sea, but 2 months later, after securing an alliance with Britain, he responded that it was impossible to honor previous arrangements as long as French were in control of major Baltic ports. Despite Swedish officers being skeptical of their ability to fight the larger and experienced Russian army and defend their territories from the Russians, but King Gustav Adolf had full confidence in the Swedish army's ability to defend itself against the Russians. On February 21st, 1808, Russia declared war on Sweden by invading Finland, and Denmark would declare war on Sweden on the 14th of March, starting the Danish-Swedish War of 1808 to 1809, which would end in stalemate. The Russian army, under the command of General Frederick Wilhelm von Buxhoffen, with 24,000 men, invaded Finland on February 21st at the border of Avanhovsky, and as the Russians moved deeper into Finland, the Swedes withdrew from the Russian army, destroying any usable material, and Sweden couldn't send reinforcements to Finland due to fears of a Danish army landing in southern Sweden. After taking southern Finland on April 18th, the Swedes launched a counter-attack at the Battle of Skalovki and pushed the Russians back, but their advance was very slow due to the spring thaw. The Russians invaded Scotland on the 22nd of April with 1,800 men and 6 artillery guns and captured the island without a fight, but on May 12th, the Swedes blockaded the island, and when they landed on the island, and the Russians surrendered on May 18th without a fight. The Swedes landed 2,600 men to Limo, where they captured Abo from the Russians, despite surprising the Russians on June 19th. But the Russians counterattacked and the Swedes were forced to withdraw on June 20th, and a similar thing happened in Vasa. Despite the Swedish Navy defeating the Russian Navy at the Battle of Rentokramp, but the Swedes failed to decisively defeat the Russian Navy, and the Russians were able to defeat the Swedes at the Battle of Sandelstorm. After the Swedes driven out the Russians from central Finland, the Russians were under the command of Count Komensky launched a counterattack and pushed back the Swedes. Despite the Swedes trying to land more troops in Finland, but they failed to take southern Finland back from the Russians, and a Franco-Danish force under the command of Marshal Bernadotte threatened Sweden's possessions. By November 1808, Russian forces overrun Finland and Swedish forces were withdrawn from Finland, and Emperor Alexander, now wanting to invade Finland proper, and ordered the Russian army to prepare to invade Sweden. When the Russians marched across the frozen Gulf, King Gustav, due to his failed leadership in the war, he was overthrown in a coup and was replaced by his uncle, who became King Charles XIII. The Russians moved deeper into Sweden, and the Swedes were unable to defeat the Russians. After the Battle of Vatten, Sweden signed the Treaty of Fredriksholm, which ended the war. Sweden was forced to cede Finland to Russia, which became the Grand Duchy of Finland, and forced Sweden to join the continental system and to declare war on Britain. The Anglo-Swedish War was a bloodless war. If you like this video, like and subscribe. See you next time.